Whoa, everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me on another live stream. That was pretty fun. I was just jamming out a little bit there. I hope everything sounds all right for you guys. I think my mic was a little bit quiet there, but I think I got it all in order now. So everybody, welcome to another live stream. I'm happy to be back with you guys again. I do these every Wednesday, and yeah, so welcome. I like to keep these live streams as interactive as possible. So please feel free to leave me leave me comments. Yeah, let's chat. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time here. So I'm going to try to respond to you guys, as many of you as possible, but the nature of the beast is there's a lot of people commenting, and I won't be able to get around to everybody, but I will try my absolute best. As you see, I have got a new mic set up here. Isn't this nice? I bought one of these desk mic mounts to make this a little bit easier. The one thing I'm worried about, though, is my speaker. You can't see it. My speaker is right here, and if I push this too hard, it goes directly into my speaker. So I got to make sure I don't get angry or something and push this away and put a hole through my speaker. Anyway, let me get to some of you guys' comments here. Oh, man, you guys are going crazy. Holy. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. Everyone says hi, and hi to everybody. What was it like for you learning the guitar at first? A slow, long process, but I had a lot of fun with it. That's Jacob Jimmy who asked that. When I first started learning guitar, all I was playing and all I wanted to do was play Blink-182 songs and pop songs like that, and that's took me a little bit to learn those power chords, but once I got them under my belt, I was able to get some cool things going. That was one of the first songs I remember learning, so it's fun. The great thing about the beginning of guitar is that when you first start playing, you can see yourself advance so quickly. Within a week of playing, you're twice as good as when you started. Within 2 weeks, you're twice as good from the previous week, and you see that advancing happen so fast if you stick with it, and it's really rewarding. That doesn't happen so much anymore. If I were to get twice as good at guitar, it probably would take me like the rest of my life to get there. So you see those rewards happen quickly, which is cool. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to try to get around to as many of these comments as I possibly can. Jacob Jimbany responded to you. Trev Barnes says, hey man, recently new fan. Keep up what you're doing. Always look forward to your videos. Thank you so much. I got a new video Friday, new video Monday. Mondays, Fridays are new videos. Wednesdays are these lovely live streams where we get to chat and hang out. Devi Drote says, your beard looks really soft. It's actually not. It kind of feels like a Brillo Brillo pad. Do I listen to any metal? Asked Williams Goldsmith. No, I really don't listen to much metal. It's one of those genres. I got a lot of respect for it. I got a lot of respect for the people who make metal and play metal, but never really hooked me in. I made that video a couple weeks ago about my attempt at playing metal, and for that, I just listened to a bunch of Rob Scallon videos, and that was kind of my research to that, and it was pretty fun. It's fun, but I don't think metal's for me, though there are a couple cool bands in there. Ghost comes to mind. Chase Gleason says, hey, found this channel yesterday and I'm already addicted. Awesome. Welcome. Thanks for swinging by. Thanks for subscribing. Ethan AO says, ever heard of D'Angelico guitars? Yes, I certainly have. They are those really fancy, nice hollow body jazz guitars. Very cool. Okay, so Bruno has a question about the contest, and I'm going to fill you guys in about this contest that I'm running. If you missed it, I'm going to be giving away this Telecaster. It's a contest that I'm running through. I partnered up with Musician to put on this contest, and if you need any details about that, it's all in the last video that I released. I also have a frequently asked question in the comments section there, so everything you need to know about how you can win this guitar is in that video. Basically, I'm getting you guys to record yourselves playing along to one of my songs, upload it to YouTube or wherever, and I'm going to review it. I think there's like 54 entries so far, so to be honest, like, you know what? If you entered, you got like a 1 in 54 chance of winning a Fender American Telecaster. It's worthwhile. If nothing else, it'll be a learning experience. And I'm going to listen to every single person who submits something. So that's, I don't know. Submit, even if you're just a beginner, even if you're advanced, it's open to everyone. If you don't have great gear, I don't really care. At the end of the day, I want to hear you guys play, and I really want to give a guitar to someone I feel like is deserving of it. If I had my way, I'd give a guitar to every single one of you. But Bruno asked, does it matter if some of the gear in my video for the contest is borrowed? Definitely not. Definitely not at all. Jose Luis Gonzalez Rodon, you have been noticed. Carlos Magolin says, who's your greatest inspiration? That's a really tough question to answer because over the course of my musical career, I guess, or since I started playing guitar, there have been so many different musicians who have drawn me in over time. And there's been so many different ones who've been huge inspirations for like a 2, 3, 4, 5 year period. The ones that come to mind off the top of my head, Stevie Ray Vaughan was huge for me. Jimi Hendrix was huge for me. John Frusciante was huge. John Scofield. I love John Mayer. There's so many. I actually made a video once on my 10 favorite guitar players. If you're interested more, check that out. Callan, my man. Callan Nichols, super chats. And he says, love these live streams right after work, just before bed. It's wonderful. Keep it up. Thank you, Callan. Callan is one of my patrons, and it's because of him and that these videos and these kind of things exist. So, Callan, big thanks to you, and I'm looking forward to when we get to get together and have an individual Skype chat, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you and meeting you in person, I guess. I guess it's not really in person, but Skype is as close as it'll get until I come overseas one day. What is with the new Taylor guitars? They have started to become more often played by many artists as I have seen them more, says Cabrillas. Taylor's not really for me. They have a specific sound and they're great for what they do. I don't think I would ever own a Taylor. One of my friends has a really cool Taylor and I borrowed for a couple recordings and it sounds great for certain things. I just don't think that would be the one that I would go with. Nicholas Daniel says, how to play jazz or blues correctly. Spend 10,000 hours listening to it, trying to play it, and playing it, and you're going to make a lot of progress. There's not one quick answer for that, my friend. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here, try to get to some more of these questions. Someone says, Eddie Schneider says, watching you live in New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans. beautiful city. I'd like to come back. I think I told the story once of how I had a pretty fun night on Bourbon Street once on one of these live streams. Mr. Bread says, do you drink beer? If you do, could I send you one so we could have one together while you're live streaming? I do drink bread. I do drink bread. Well, I guess technically drinking beer is like drinking bread. It's just fermented bread. So that's a funny little slip of the tongue. But yes, I do drink beer. I don't think sending me one would be a good idea just because I don't know how well a beer will travel if you ship it somewhere. C, or B, I also don't think I've given out my personal address, so you might have a tough time getting it to me. Someone says, what gauge strings do you use? On this guitar right now, it came with 9s, and I haven't got around to restringing it yet. They feel really thin to me. I'm not a big fan of 9s. I use 10s on my Telecasters, and any guitars with a longer neck ratio or whatever it's called, a longer scale, I will use 11s. So like my Gibsons, I put 11s on or anything like that, but for most of my guitars, I have 10s on them. Alex says, can you play an open G chord? Yes, I certainly can. Oh, man. There you go. You know what's a cool little guitar trick? Is the Telecaster swells. And that is when I'm going to scroll back so you can see my guitar. But that's when you hit your strings and then you pull the volume up. Kind of sounds like a reverse guitar there. Kind of fun. I saw Yngwie do a really cool thing with that. I wonder if I might be able to pull this off. Okay, hang on. Bear with me. I got a cool idea. Okay, so what I got going right now is I have my delay pedal, and I'm going to try to time it up so that every note is delayed and plays exactly one time over. So it's going to repeat twice, more or less. And what I'm going to try to do is create a cool little song with this, a cool little harmony. So let's see what happens here. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So what I'm going to try now is I'm going to try to delay that even more. So it plays not every quarter note, but every half note. So first, I got to find the beat. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. I know. Fun you can have with pedals. That's just me kind of messing around a little bit there. But if you time that right and you have the right song, you can create a canon, which is basically when one part plays and then the second, and then it lines up. How do I even explain a canon? It's like, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. And then the second person starts singing that as the person starts singing, someone starts the song, when the first person starts singing the second line, everything kind of lines up. That's my rough explanation. It's not a great one. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying about this. Here's a question from a fellow Telecaster fan. Fellow Telecaster Standard versus Telecaster Special, pros and cons. Man, honestly, I don't even know the difference between them. I'm totally not a gearhead at all. I used to be more of a gearhead when I worked at a music store and I was constantly surrounded by musical gear, but I honestly don't know the difference between them. I would have to look it up. Whichever one you like, whichever one sounds good, you'll find a way to make it work for you. Fragment says, do you know how to achieve a violin-like tremolo effect on the guitar? Don't you just get that from doing those swells? Get like a little distortion and then... That's how I would try to do that. Can you do Livin Polka with the same effects as Flint L. Dan? I have no idea what song that is, so I don't think I can. Eddie Van Halen, Cathedral and Buckhead, Big Sur Moon use the same effect. Yes, they certainly do. I definitely did not invent that. It's a cool effect that others have used before me. Maybe says, how long have I been playing guitar for? I have been playing guitar since I was 13. That was 16 years ago. Johnny Beavers, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, love you, buddy. Looking forward to doing a Cybeam video. I'm especially looking forward to hearing all the contest entries. I've listened to a bunch of them so far. Last I checked, there are 54. So I definitely haven't listened to all of them. I'm going to set one day or a couple days aside at the end of the month to really make sure I dive into them and listen to everybody's songs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referencing the contest that I'm putting on through Musician, where I'm giving away this guitar. All the details about that you can find on my latest video. So just go to my channel. It's pretty obvious. You'll figure it out. You guys are smart. I trust you. Danny McCoon says, see y'all. Thank you for stopping by, man. Beer in Canada is cheaper than water, says Intelligentsia Artificial. It is definitely not. Beer in Canada is quite expensive. I think you might be thinking of the US, or alternatively, you live somewhere where beer is really expensive. For us, a 6-pack, 6 beers, will cost roughly 12 Canadian dollars. When I was younger, it used to cost like 8, but it keeps on going up. In the States, you can get 30 beers for $15 in the States. A single beer is 50 cents down there. If I could do that, well, it'd be problems. I'm kind of glad beer isn't that cheap up here. Sam, would you ever do a cover of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia theme song? Probably not. I've done something with that theme before. I did one video back in, I think, October, where I said that I need to take a break from guitar, and I kind of messed around with It's Always Sunny. I don't think I would cover the theme. It doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't strike me as something that I feel excited about doing, but maybe that changes. Nicholas Ramos says, can you play the main chord progression for Cybeam? It is really great. Well, thank you so much. And yes, I certainly can. I actually played that with my synth pedal, which I don't have hooked up right now, but the basic theme, or the basic chord progression, I played it on this guitar right here, and it goes like this. And then the bridge part goes, or I guess it's the pre-chorus, where it's like, that part goes. And it kicks into the chorus. You know. You guys know. Carlos says, hi from Sweden. Hi to you from Canada. Oh, man. So this chat is super annoying. As I'm scrolling through, it just sometimes jumps down. And then I lose the spot where I was. So I got to scroll back up here. I, 'cause, 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 ' Yeah, I can't figure out where I was. So I'm just gonna jump ahead in my chat. If I miss your question, please feel free to keep asking, and I'll try to make sure I answer everyone. Matt Breed says, started recording a Cybeam cover today from Worcestershire, England. Played on a black and white telly. Should be a good outcome. Looking forward to the end product and sending it to you. Looking forward to hearing it, man. Cameron Appleton says, is the Cybeam competition the whole song or just the solo? A couple of people have asked this. For the competition where I'm giving this guitar away, I'm asking you guys to cover one of my songs. I would like to hear the whole song, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Use your discretion, but I would say I would prefer to hear the whole song. So hopefully that answers your question. Chris Castillo says, I'm a beginner. I'm 16. I like your videos. If I practice every day, would I get good at playing? You absolutely would. But here's what I want to say. You have to make sure you're practicing right. You can play guitar, and that doesn't necessarily mean you will improve. And I've seen a lot of people who have this problem. And I actually made a video once called How to Improve. It's one of my Sensei series. I would watch that one. But, for example, say I learned how to play a song. I learned how to play that really, really well. But all I ever did for years and years and every day was just play that song. I played something that I'm good at over and over again. I'm not going to improve. Improvement happens when, say you have this comfort zone. This is our comfort zone, this little ball here. Improvement happens when you take something that's just outside of your comfort zone and you work on that and you work on that. And something attainable, something a little bit hard but not unachievable. And then you get to the point where you can do that perfectly, and your comfort zone grows a little bit. And then you work on this thing, and it grows a little bit. Then you work on this thing, and it grows a little bit. And that's how you improve. You slowly build on these things, and you master them. You don't just jump from one thing to the next without building on it, or your comfort zone isn't actually growing. You're tricking yourself. In the same way, you can't jump to something that's extremely advanced when you are still a beginner down here, because you'll never be able to reach that. You have to take small steps and get there. But if you take that advice, you will. Sandro Kaishuari says, do you like Steve Vai? I like Steve Vai. I don't listen to him much. I got a couple of his albums. I was more into him before, but I wouldn't say I would put his music on. It doesn't really do a ton for me. But I don't have any problem with him. He's an extremely talented guitar player. I like what he did with Frank Zappa. It's just not really where I'm at musically now. Philip Zane, thank you for swinging by. He says, I'm going to win that telly. You very well could, man. Isaac Howell says, man, I really hope I have a chance for the Cybeam challenge. Man, last I checked, there were 54 people who entered. So, like, at this point, if you enter, you have a 1 in 54 chance of winning a American Red telly. So that's pretty good. You definitely have a chance. Hey, Mr. Samurai, would you recommend that I get my 1930s Supertone acoustic restored? Nats50 says. I feel like it depends if you have an emotional connection with it. I feel like the money you would spend on it doing that is not... You wouldn't see that money... you wouldn't see return on your investment monetarily, but if you're really, really into that guitar, yeah, totally, that could be a cool thing to do. Maybe. I gotta go. Bye, dude. Thanks for answering. Have fun. Thanks for swinging by, my friend. Kellen O'Donnell says, did you write lyrics for Cybeam? If not, why didn't you? Good question. I kind of did, but I never intended to use them. Sometimes one of the tricks I'll use when I'm writing instrumental music is I will come up with lyrics and I will build my melodies off of them. So, for example, that one bit in the middle. I just came up with this dumb lyric, and it was just like, what was it? Run forever, and I'll run forever if I'm running to you. That was the lyric that I came up with, and I just started singing that and coming up with a melody for that. And I'll run forever if I'm running to you. And it was never meant to be something that I would release. I never thought I'm actually going to put lyrics to this song, but that was one of those things that helps you come up with a lyrical type of guitar idea. I don't know. I at this point in my life, I've written a lot of songs with lyrics, and I was pursuing a career writing as a staff writer. And I would go down to Nashville, and I wrote a ton of lyrics, and I wrote a lot of music. I'm not really into the lyric writing right now because it doesn't really suit my channel. it's a guitar channel. I don't sing, and I don't have a ton of singers that I'm actively working with a ton right now. If a singer reached out to me and was like, hey, I would really love to collaborate with you, then I'd be more inclined to write lyrics with them. But at this point, no. Right now, lyrics aren't really where my headspace is at. I like releasing guitar music right now. That could very well change. Goran Dimitrov says, have you ever tried a fretless guitar? Any thoughts on them? Thinking about getting one in the future. So me and my buddy Al, years ago, his brother had a just like a junky Stratocaster. And what we did is we ripped out the frets on it, which was surprisingly really easy. All we did is we just like took like a soldering iron, warmed up the frets so the glue was warmed up, and then just took pliers and ripped them all out, and then filled it in with wood filler or wood cement or whatever. And he probably still has that guitar. I should grab that from him. But we jammed. That was a really fun guitar. Like I played on it a bunch. Yeah, that reminds me. I was meaning to look into getting a fretless guitar because they're totally cool. Good idea. I'm glad you reminded me. If you see a fretless guitar pop up on my channel in the near future, you're the reason why. Darky says, can we play the solo for the contest? Yes, you certainly can. Jonathan Ocampo says, do you sing? Everybody sings, but not everybody sings well. Blueberry Fist says, this is a question regarding the Cybeam contest. I don't have your song playing on a speaker in my video. It was on my headphones. Does that affect my chances? I think it would probably, I don't know, maybe not. I would have to hear it. There's no real requirements there. So if it's a great version, I can always just overlay it over my track and listen to it. So I would say it's not necessary to have it one way or the other. Lame Impala says, have you listened to Tame Impala? No, I have not yet. I should. There's a lot of recommendations, and I keep saying I should listen to all these bands, but man, there's a lot of music out there. And I don't really listen to a ton of music, to be honest. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I should just take a day for a Steve day. I should just take a day, play video games, and listen to all the recommendations of songs people have for me. One day. Aryan Kapoor says, what is the best wah under $100 US? Man, like I said before, I'm not a gearhead. I have no idea. I used to own a JCB 95. I don't know how much they cost anymore. That might be worthwhile. I don't know. I just go to your music store, play around with them, see which one you like. That's the best one. There is no objective best one. The best one is the one that you like the most. Someone says, Jose Carlos says, Spanish beer is 23 cents. Man, I'm glad I don't live in Spain because I would probably drink way too much beer. Okay. Oh, my screen just jumped down to the bottom. Okay. More questions here. I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then I'm going to play something for you guys. How does one solo on an acoustic guitar, says Dr. Sandal? I would say the best thing you can do is listen. There's been some amazing solos played on acoustic guitar. Some of my favorite soloing is done on acoustic guitar. You just need to kind of learn how to do it. One of the people I learned to play a solo on the acoustic guitar from is a guy named Tony Rice. And he's a bluegrass player, and that style is perfect for soloing on acoustic. Listen to Tony Rice and tell me that you can't solo on an acoustic guitar. Besides him, listen to any gypsy jazz and tell me that that doesn't work. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, scrolling back down. Wayne says, what hockey position do you play? My natural position is right wing, though sometimes I'll play center. Usually I'm the go-to centerman if our normal centermen don't show up because my skill set is just skating fast and having cardio conditioning, which is good for center, though I suck at winning faceoffs. And then there's another team that I'll play defense with sometime. Michael Grafer, my buddy Grafer, says Raid Redemption, which is a joke that only him and I will get, but we were out for dinner the other day and he was recommending a movie. And I told him I would watch it and I haven't yet. And that movie's called Raid Redemption. And when he mentioned this, I was thinking to myself, okay, Raid Redemption. Kind of in my mind, I'm thinking this movie is probably just a piece of garbage. And he's like, no, this is going to be a great movie. And so I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, expecting it to be like 20%. Sure enough, it's 88%. Grafer, at some point, I'm going to watch Raid Redemption, and I'm going to think of you the whole time. Michael Estrella says, why did you name your song Cybeam? The reason why I named my song Cybeam was because what I want to do is name all my songs, for now, I don't know how long this will last, with video game references. And the reason why I want to do that is because figuring out names for instrumental songs is so tricky. It's so hard. And so the easiest way to do it, I find, is just like have something that you can use to draw them from. One of my favorite games of all time was the original Pokemon, and so I just kind of went through all the moves, and Psybeam was one of the ones that kind of seemed like that move kind of fit the vibe of the song. I was going to originally name it Psy Wave, but the nature of that video is kind of vapor wavy, and I wanted to not maybe make it so quite so obvious, you know? Mr. Bread says, dude, you should get a shirt that says, I'm not a gearhead. I should. I wonder if that exists. If not, I should make one. Nicholas Ramos says, for the competition, is it more about the video or the actual playing? I would say it's about the actual playing. That's my go-to. That's what I would say I'm going to be judging it on. All right, I'm going to jump down to the most current questions here. Do I like wiener dogs? Yes, I do. My girlfriend's stepsister? No, half-sister? No, stepsister. My girlfriend's stepsister has a wiener dog who I get along well with. She's pretty cool. All right. I am going to play something because I've been chatting and ranting on for a while now, and I feel like I need to take a break from hearing my own voice. Some of you guys are commenting about SRV. Of course, I love SRV. If somebody asks, what do I think of him? He is one of my favorites of all time. Khaled Al-Qasimi says, could you live stream the judging? Hey, that's not actually a bad idea. Maybe I will do something like that. I mean, there's a ton of entries. Like, I'm going to be committing a full weekend to it. It might get a little boring after a while, and I don't totally know how I can play them so you can hear them. I don't know. That's a cool idea. I'm thinking what I might do for all the entries, and this is regarding the contest that I'm putting on where you can win this guitar, and basically I ask people to play along to one of my songs and film themselves, and my favorite version I'm going to give this guitar to. Any more details you can find on my most recent video. But what I was thinking I might do is just like since there's going to be so many sections or so many submissions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my favorite parts of all of the submissions and put it together to make one full song. I don't know. That might be a cool thing to do. That's something I was thinking of. All right. I am going to play something for you. I don't know what it's going to be. Wish me luck. I should also mention that I've got my looper here. And so what that enables me to do, is record something and it'll play back for me. So check it out. See, no hands. Repeats over and over. Though I don't know if I nailed that loop. You got to make sure you press the button right at the right time or else it doesn't loop properly and the rhythm gets all messed up. Yeah, the rhythm's wrong there. Give me a second. Okay, one more try. was pretty fun. I like doing that, getting those those harmonies going on the loop. Always good time. Always. And thank you guys all so very much for listening. Christian Castellano says, what kind of looper are you using? I am using a RC20. I bought it years ago. One of the best practice tools I have ever bought. I would recommend it. Are you familiar with any Japanese rock bands? Says Illumi. The only one I'm really familiar with is Toe is the name of that band. I don't know if they're really rock, but whatever they are, they're cool. Man, can I spit some lyrics to this? Says Mr. Bread. You definitely can. Fool Boy Media says, moves away from the mic so he can breathe, which is a reference to one of the most classic viral videos of all time, Chocolate Rain. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here. What looper was it again? The RC20 is what it's called. Boris is big in Japan. Boris, big in Japan. How do you get over the label of being the guy that plays guitar? I don't really know what that question means. I'm not really quite sure what you're asking. People, like, I don't know. I think my friends just know me as a guy who is just me, and then people who don't know me as a guy who plays guitar, and that's cool too. Nicholas Ramos says, I can tell you love your seventh chords. Lol, I do too, and I just solo with you, and we harmonize each other for good measure. Nice to jam with you, my friend. Yeah, I do love my seventh chords. I guess it comes from my jazz background. Little jazz for you. Little jazz on a Wednesday. That's a song called There Will Never Be Another You. And I haven't played that. I used to play that style of music so much. And eventually I kind of got, I don't know, I guess I got to the point where it wasn't really for me anymore, but I spent a lot of time playing that style of music, and every now and then I like to bust it out every now and then. Romero P says, there will never be another you. And yes, that is the name. That's the name to that song. And I might play some more. There's a couple of those jazz melodies that I had really, really down pat, those chord melodies. I forgot a lot of them. I used to also be able to play All the Things You Are. I had a great chord melody for that one. Oh, I can't remember how it goes from there. I have to take a second to figure that one out. Love that stuff, though. Romero piece. Nailed it. Nailed it. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. It was amazing. I feel like I was in an elevator. Yes, jazz and elevators do go along pretty well. Well, thank you guys for the nice words. I'm just reading through the comments here, and thank you guys all so much. It's very cool to have an audience of people who are listening and enjoy what I do. It's very, very cool. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys got any more questions, keep them coming. Do you improv things by feeling, or do you use your technical knowledge like music theory, says Neo Kyo? So that's kind of an interesting question. When I'm improvising, I don't think much about theory because I believe when you are in a position when you're playing music, whether it be live, whether it be in the studio, there's different types of music creation. Playing music is very different than practicing music. When I'm playing music, I like to think about it as little as possible. And I think that's when I'm doing my best. I'm playing my best is when I'm not thinking. I'm playing by instinct. I'm playing by feeling. I'm using my ear. I'm trying to create melodies and ideas. But all of that stems from all this time that I've spent working on theory and working on these concepts. And that's this other type of music, and that's practicing music. And that's when you're practicing and you work on these things until they just become second nature. And when they get to that point, they come out naturally when you're just playing. In kind of the same way, like if you're learning a language, for example, you spend a lot of time looking at the grammar and you spend a lot of time learning vocabulary. But when you are the great speakers and the great writers, they aren't really thinking about that stuff when they're creating. When they're talking to somebody, they are not thinking, okay, where does my preposition go? What's the correct grammar here? They're just speaking because they've spent the time working on all those other things. It comes out naturally. So I take that same approach to music, and I believe that music and language are very, very, very similar. Have I ever played a Rickenbacker guitar, says Liam and Paula. I have. When I used to work at the music store, I just played tons and tons of guitars when I was there, and I'm sure at some point I played a Rickenbacker. I think there was a 12-string at one point that I played, which is especially cool, and that's something I would like to buy is a 12-string, whether it be an electric or an acoustic. Oh man, I just got a bunch of comments here. Okay, I'm going to try to get around to all these. Armando Ruiz says, what's the main genre you play now? And what do you practice jam on mostly? I don't really practice anymore, to be honest. I haven't practiced for years. I just would rather spend my time creating music. And the things I create are the things you see on YouTube. So I guess it's mostly, I don't even know, man. You'd have to just scroll through my videos, and that's the stuff that I play the most. Sandra Kaishuari says, I have a very important question. I was on musicians' master classes in my city, and I was questioning them. How to unlock my creative potential? What is your answer? That's tough. And I think the answer to that question is a weird philosophical answer that I'm going to try to give you. You unlock your creative potential by trying to unlock your creative potential. The more time you spend trying to be creative and spending, the more ways you attempt to be creative and the more ways you try to unlock that are going to be the things that unlock that. There's not one specific thing. It's all this time and effort you put into your music is eventually going to pay off. And it's not going to happen right away. It's just going to slowly happen over time. And one day you're going to look back on where you were today and you're going to say, wow, I've come so far because of all these little things I did. So there's not one secret. It's just keep working on music, keep listening to music, keep trying to improve, and you're going to unlock your creative potential. Okay. Here's a question. Hints about songwriting would be cool. I'm usually stuck after intro, first verse, and chorus. Here's a quick little hint. If that's a lot of people get stuck at that point. There's two ways that I would recommend working on that. Number one is you're trying to write without a roadmap. I can tell you right now, you're writing without a roadmap. A roadmap is when you go into a song prepared. You're driving into a new city and you have a map and you know exactly how you're getting from point A to point B. You do this by preparing for that experience. If you just drive into a city and hope to get from point A to point B without having been there, without having a map, you're going to get lost. Trust me, I've tried it. And what you're trying to do is just write from beginning to end. You write your first line, then you write your second line, then your third line, then you write your chorus. This is not effective songwriting. This is a mistake I see a lot of people do. What you want to do is you come up with a plan, brainstorm for a long period of time. Before I even sit down to start writing lyrics, I like to have a lot of ideas, a lot of words that I think can be used in this idea, a lot of potential rhymes with them. But more importantly, I have planned out. In my first verse, I'm saying this idea. In my second verse, here's an idea that I'm coming up with. In my chorus, here's what I'm saying. In my bridge, here's what I'm saying. I have a rough idea of what I want to say. That way, when I go to write, I'm not out of ideas. I have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to hit that problem over and over again. This comes from, and that's to me a part of just lazy, or not necessarily lazy, but poor writing habits. And the good news is it's fairly easy to improve that. I would recommend using the book Writing Better Lyrics. I learned so much from that. It's by Pat Pattison. It's like $10 on Amazon. The one other little tip I'll give you is if you get stuck in that point, try making your first verse your second verse, and see what happened before the first verse in the story. Good luck with that, and I hope that's helpful. Romero Peace. Hey, love your work. Have been playing for 5 years, buying an electric, but I'm confused on what to choose. My best thing to listen and play is jazz. Man, like I said, I'm not really a gearhead. The best thing I would do is just try out a bunch and listen to how they sound and see which ones you naturally gravitate towards. Okay, I'm going to try to read some more of these questions here. Jose Carlos quotes Rick and Morty there. Okay, so here's something funny. Something I realized the other day. I'm a huge fan of Rick and Morty, and if you're not, you're going to find this a little boring and whatever. But in Rick and Morty, there's alternate dimensions, alternate universes, and they determine which one they're in by a code. So the one true Rick and Morty are in the dimension C137. And so the other day, I was looking at my driver's license, and we have a code on our driver's license, and the last bit of my code was C137, which made me realize that I am the one true samurai guitarist, according to Rick and Morty. Thomas Richard says, I'm from Chile, and I love you. South America. Thank you so much for watching, man. Do you think it's possible for someone with small hands to be able to learn the Hendrix chord, says Nick Pappas? Yeah, of course. The Hendrix chord is not, unless we're thinking of a different chord, the Hendrix chord is like a 7 sharp 9. That kind of thing. This chord right here. Yeah, man, I got tiny little hands, and I've never really struggled with that one, so definitely you can. Chris says, thoughts on the Doors? Great band. There's a funny sketch by Kids in the Hall on being a Doors fan. I would watch that. Jose Carlos says, do you get along with other YouTubers? Yeah, for the most part I do. I think I do. I got a couple of friends who are in the YouTube business, and yeah, we get along well. Dakota Varnell says, how many monies did your telly cost? I'm wanting to buy one. I got this one for significantly less than it's worth because I was able to get a deal through my local music store. I think these brand new, they're about 1,500 Canadian dollars. But I was able to get it for less than that, which fit in the budget for musician. And hey, if you want a telly, I'm giving this one away. Check out my last video that I put out on Monday about the contest, and and you can learn how to get this one. My girlfriend Jenny just texted me. I should probably see what she said. Make sure it's not a pressing matter. Nope, she's coming over soon. Samurai Jenny. If you wanna see her make some music, she was on my video that I released two videos ago called Jamming with My Girlfriend, and she made a song on Mario Paint that I jammed along with. She's pretty great. When will you shred on synth, says Layman Paula. Probably never, because I am not a good piano player. Mr. Deathbrand says, congrats on getting 125,000 subs. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. It wouldn't be possible without people like you guys. Mert Akil says, where is your name coming from? My actual name or Samurai Guitarist? I don't know. I don't really know what you're asking there. It came from my mind. I came up with it one day. What do you think of BBO's guitar style? I don't know BBO. I couldn't comment on it. Why does my beard look that cool? That is the real question. Genetics, man. Genetics and not shaving. That's all it is. I'm going to play something for you guys pretty soon. I've been blabbing on too long. That Fat Phil the Cat says, can you put your samurai spin to this? I'm curious. I don't really know what that is. D6698. Is that a tab? I'm not quite sure what you're showing me. You'd have to record it and like post it and maybe tag me in it, and I would I could try to read it. Mr. Bread says, and there we have it, folks. A lady samurai guitarist that goes by the name of Samurai Jenny. Yes, she certainly does. You can see her and myself jamming on a recent video that I put out called Jamming with My Girlfriend. Go watch that. James Jerry Arthur says, do you practice martial arts? I do not. I wanted to get into it, but man, only so many hours in a day, only so many things you can do. I do a lot of other sports. I play hockey and I play soccer and I try to work out every day, and man, it's time consuming. Ain't got no time for all those, for martial arts as much as I would like to. God Bless Faya says, do you have any pets? No, I do not. I had a hamster once. His name was Tiny Tim. I put him in the toilet to see if he could swim. No, just joking. I didn't put him in the toilet. That would be very cruel, and I love animals very much. I had a hamster named Tiny Tim. I think I had him until I was around 11 or 12. He was a pretty cool little guy. Miss that little rodent. The XLR cable from my mic looks painfully stretched. Yeah. It's all right. You can hang in there. It's tough. Wayne says, what's my favorite podcast? I've mentioned a couple before. Probably Stuff You Should Know. I listen to that one all the time. I listen to the H3 podcast. Anything Dan Carlin puts out, I love very deeply. But he doesn't put out a ton. The other one that I recommend is a Winnipeg-based podcast about this guy's crazy life called Character. I've helped them out a little bit, doing some production for them, as well as I was on the podcast once doing an interview of this guy, and it was a really cool one. I'd recommend Character. Check that out. Mert Akil says, where are you from? And I would say I'm from Winnipeg. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Sandoro Kaishwari says, do you like anime? I don't. Some people, I've mentioned this before, and people were super disappointed. I'm not really into anime at all. I'm not really into a lot of Japanese culture. My brother and sister are much more into that kind of stuff. The only anime I've ever watched, and I don't even know if it counts as an anime, is that original Pokemon series. Brandon Inu says, are you wearing pants? I certainly am. Brandon Inu also says, do you vape? And I certainly don't. What's my favorite guitar brand? I don't really have one. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about gear and stuff. It's just not, I don't know, it used to interest me more, but I don't know. Gear is not something I'm that engaged in anymore. I got the things I like, and I just kind of stick with them. Really like my telly. and the other guitars I have. Mr. Deathbrand says, where do you get a copy of Mario Paint? Or an SNES for that matter. Jenny had it. Her and I actually play SNES all the time. Tetris Attack, we have very intense matches on that. So she had one, and then she just brought it over to my place. Blake Willowy says, and I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to jam out a little bit for you guys. Blake says, you said you have been in a few bands. What kind of music did you play in them? Yeah, I've been in a lot of different bands. There's been a lot of different types of music I've played. I mean, I could list them all off, but I probably won't. There's one band. My very first band, we were just doing rock and roll covers. Aerosmith, AC/DC, lots of Guns N' Roses. I think, yeah, we did Rolling Stones, like stuff like that. Classic rock covers. We did a ton of those kind of songs, and that was where I first got started. And then that band kind of evolved, and we got some different members, and it totally twisted around to an original project called Shaky Gun. And you can look that up. It's somewhere on the internet. We had a MySpace, and you can hear the songs we did. And that was, to me, kind of like tragically hip type Canadiana rock and roll. And that was a fun band, rock and roll. We played around Winnipeg, recorded our own EP. And here's actually I'll play you one of the my favorite guitar parts, my favorite guitar riffs that I came up with for that. And it went like this for a song called Pride. That was one of the guitarists that we played, and that was a fun band. Me and my friend Will, my other friend Tom, and another friend named Tyson played in that band together, and we had a lot of fun. It was one of those really pivotal learning moments for me. There's a ton I learned with that band. Me and my friend Will, we co-wrote all the songs together. It was just a really great experience. And then I've also played in lots of like session stuff where people just hire me to play top 40 stuff. So I've played all the top 40 stuff you can expect, the Stevie Wonder stuff, I heard it through the grapevine, Jackson 5, all that kind of stuff. When I first moved to Toronto, I joined a traditional ska band called Sound One, and they're still going. And that kind of music, it was super fun because I never had played this music, but it wasn't so different from the stuff that I had grown up playing. And if you don't know ska is cool because it has a lot of emphasis on the offbeat. That kind of feel to it. Really fun band. I got to do some solos, and we just ripped it up live. I played a ton of gigs around the greater Toronto area with them. Went to Montreal, played there. Really, really fun. Then I played in another reggae band out there. And in Sound One is where I met through Sound One is where I became friends with two of my friends who I'm still close to this day. One of my friends, his name is Mike, and he is down in New York, and he is playing jazz music and just ripping it up down there. And another one of my friends who was the drummer for that band, his name is Joel, and him and I are still friends to this day, and he plays in a band called Walk Off the Earth, which you may have heard of. But after that, then I kind of started focusing my efforts on other things. I played through school. I played in an African ensemble, and we played African-style music. Very, very fun. I said I wasn't going to list them all the bands off that I played in, but here I am listing them all off. Played in an African ensemble, played in some jazz stuff there, played in an R&B band. That was super, super fun. After that, I started pursuing the country stuff a little bit more because there was a lot of money in country music. So I played a lot of top 40 country. Played a lot of old school country. Johnny Cash. What else have I played in? That might be about it. Oh, I also played another super fun band that I played with was a New Orleans style jazz band. and there were never any rehearsals. You never really knew who was going to be on the gig. There was a number of regular people. Sometimes we had a banjo player. Sometimes there were 2 saxophone players. Sometimes there was 1. Sometimes there was a sousaphone player. Sometimes there was a trombone player. You never really knew. You just showed up to the gig. There were these books, and they would just say, okay, let's play this song. You open the book to that page and just read the chord charts. And then I would just sit in the back rocking out. That's not really a song that they would do, but I would just rock out on the chords. Really fun. People would dance. That was a good gig. I think that's like, I'm sure there's other ones in there, but I've played in a lot of different groups, a lot of different types of music. Oh, someone says I saw Johnny A live. I would love to see Johnny A live. He's one of my favorite guitar players. Julius Michael Guillermo says, do you listen to Japanese math rock like Toe? Oh, yeah, I mentioned Toe. That's the only one of those bands that I know, and like the only Japanese band that I really know. YNG1234 says, sup, dude, have you considered Twitch music streaming? I have considered it, but nobody follows me on Twitch. It's so hard to try to bring people from one place to another. My audience is on YouTube, so it's like, why would I move to Twitch when people are already here? And unlike a lot of other fellow YouTubers, YouTube likes me. The YouTube algorithm likes the content that I create. And so I haven't been really hit by the adpocalypse or anything like that. In fact, I've actually seen benefits because for the most part, I make fairly family-friendly content. I'm not saying that it's good that these negative things are happening to other YouTubers. I'm just saying that for me, it doesn't make sense to be thinking about leaving the platform at this point. Just reading some more of these comments here. Someone says Guns N' Roses suck. You know what? You can take off. You can take off, bud. It's a Canadian insult. Take off, eh? Oh, someone just mentioned something. Thomas Richard says, so this is a really important question. Okay. Let's hear it. I just had the opportunity to go and study for some years in Canada. I don't know what to do. Should I leave my girlfriend and my life for a better one? Advice. I don't think you meant to phrase it this way, but it's kind of funny to hear, should I leave my girlfriend for a better one and my life for a better one? You need to ask yourself that question. Nobody else will be able to answer that besides you. You need to look at your life in years and think about what you really want from life. Chances are, in the majority of relationships, end. But there are some special ones that stick around. What are the most important things to you in your life? Everybody needs to make sacrifices. Where do you want to sacrifice that? That's your big question in life. Lewis Ball says, will you be collaborating with Andrew Wong or Stevie T or any other YouTubers? At the moment, I don't have anything planned. I've done a collaboration with Andrew before. I was actually on a Skype call with Stevie T and Andrew the other day. We were talking about some of the stuff for that musician campaign we're putting on. At the moment, I don't have any plans to do it. If it comes up naturally, if it feels right in the moment, then I'm not opposed to it. But at the moment, nothing planned. It's one of those things where it's nice when they happen. It's nice when they happen naturally. And at the moment, nothing has come up. But I'm not gonna say it won't. Haha, he can't do LDR. I'm not quite sure what that is in reference to because I missed some of the questions. Ooh, Matt Haverstock says, Matt Mays and El Torpedo is one of my favorite albums. I'm from Nova Scotia and saw them live there. I love Matt Mays and El Torpedo. One of my favorites of all time, too. Very special band to me. At one point in my life, I was going through some tough times, and their album, Matt Mays and El Torpedo, the self-titled one, was one of the ones that got me through that tough period. I've seen Matt Mays a number of times. One day I hope to meet him. Should I do Facebook paid promotion thing for my band, or is it a waste? I don't believe in paid promotions. I think if what you're doing stands out, it will share itself in one way or another. I don't think you should be paying for that. That's just my opinion. But I don't necessarily have the answer for that. I wouldn't do it myself. Probably. I don't know. Mike D says, Shred Wars with Jared. Man, I would get destroyed in a Shred Wars. I am not a Shred guitar player in the least bit. So it would have to be something where, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like I said before, if it feels right, I would do it. But if I tried to like shred with any of those like shred guys, man, it would be a slaughtering, it'd be a bloodbath. It would go over terribly for me. What might be cool is like doing something with someone where it's like, okay, let's flip this around a little bit. I'm going to try to play your genre. I'm going to try to shred, and then I'm going to try to shred metal over a metal track while you try to play, I don't know, country over a country track. That would be kind of a cool thing. I don't know. But playing like metal, I would get just destroyed. All I know are the pentatonic scales. I'm just joking, but those are my favorite. My favorite singer? That's tough. Some of my favorites, I mean, Axl Rose in his prime, that was just like, he was special. One of the best of all time. I mean, Freddie Mercury is one of the best. I love John Mayer too, though not necessarily as like a singer per se. It's more the full package. I don't know. It's hard to answer. Mike D says Field Wars. That would be kind of cool. Philip Sacey. Yeah, he is good. Dang, he's good. He's a Torontonian, and his guitar tech is someone who I've had actually do some tech work on my guitars as well. Nicholas Ramos says, I got to go, but check out the band Chome sometimes. Like I said, one of these days I'm just going to sit down and play video games and listen to every band that all you guys recommend. Favorite John Mayer solo? Oh, I couldn't even pick one. One of the ones that stands out, he did a version of All Along the Watchtower live, and I don't know what it was for, and I don't know if I could even find the video right now, but I remember that solo just being like, yeah, that guy. That guy can play. Are you sad about Chris Cornell? Asked Thomas Richards. I talked about this once before. Honestly, like, I'm sad. I feel, I don't know. I honestly, here's the answer. I don't feel anything about it. I have no sort of emotional attachment to that. I've found as I've gotten older, the things in my life that I'm emotionally attached to, those bonds grow deeper, and the things that I'm not emotionally attached to, those bonds kind of disappear. So honestly, and this may sound terrible, if a celebrity dies who I've never met, it's obviously it's a sad thing. It's a very sad thing for his family, but I have no emotional attachment whatsoever to those things. So it would just be too overwhelming. You can't feel sad about everything bad that happens in the world. I hope that doesn't sound too callous, but that's just how I feel about that. David Blankston says, also, I'm working on writing a solo that works well with your solo and side beam. Can't wait to hear it, man. Can't wait to hear it. Hassan Barajawi says, Lord of the Rings question. I'm guessing you're asking, do I like it? I really enjoyed the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't watched them for a while, but yeah, that's on my list of to do. I got to rewatch the Lord of the Rings. Cole Feely says, how do you break out of the pentatonic boxes? My advice would be go and watch my video where I talk about how to spice up your guitar solos, as well as how to instantly improve your solos, as well as how to improve your solos over time. Watch those 3 videos. There's a lot of good stuff in there that will help you with that. Do I play soccer? Someone asked before the comments jumped down. Yes, I do. I'm not overly great. I didn't grow up playing soccer, really. I grew up playing hockey, but I play soccer with a rec team, and we have a ton of fun. We're called the Noodle Janks. Remind me sometime to tell you the story of that name. I'm not going to do it today. It's a little bit of an inappropriate story as well, but I play on a team called the Noodle Janks, and every week it's one of my favorite things. Draw Nihazo says, should I cut my hair? Definitely not. Someone says something about garlic bread. Yeah, garlic bread says something about garlic bread. Garlic bread's delicious. Favorite hip album, says Alex Downey. That's really tough. Probably Fully Completely, I have to go with. What's my guilty pleasure pop song, says Sandro. Without question, no question in my mind, Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. I absolutely love that song. Dylan, thank you so much, man. He says your song, Cybeam, was awesome. I think Dylan was my first ever patron. And we've done the Skype session before as well. So Dylan, people like Dylan make this possible, and I just want to give you a big, personally to you, Dylan, thank you so much, man. You make what I do possible, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I hope you submit some stuff for the contest as well. I'd love to hear what you come up with, my man. I am going to play something, and I'm going to wrap this up fairly soon because Samurai Jenny, my girlfriend, is coming over fairly soon, and I got to make dinner for us, and I don't really want to make her wait while I cook. So I'm going to get to that fairly soon. But before that, I'm going to play you guys something and answer a couple more questions. Liam Jones says, is it okay to get drunk or high before a gig? Drunk for confidence, high just for feeling? I wouldn't recommend it. If I hired somebody and they did either of those things, I probably wouldn't hire them again. But assuming that they... Well, so here's the thing. If you make a mistake when you're dead sober, no one's going to blame you for that. If you make a mistake when you're drunk or high, people are saying, well, he made that mistake when he's drunk or high. I'm probably not going to hire him because of that. I don't mind if someone has like a couple beers, but if you're getting like wasted before a gig, that's a great way not to get hired again by someone like me. We need to know what's for dinner. I'm going to be making some Greek chicken kebabs and some Greek potatoes, as well as a nice salad. So Greek is the theme. I love Greek food. Make her some bread, says Mr. Bread. I don't have a bread maker. Nicholas Ramos says, can you jam over G major 7 before I have to go? All right. Yes, I could. Sounds like John Mayer's Clarity. Quick little G major 7 jam for you there, Nicholas. Ooh, woo. How do I feel about Logic? I've never really used Logic, so I couldn't comment on it. I'm a Pro Tools guy. I like Pro Tools. Pro Tools works for me. Is this stream choppy right now? Oh, it looks like it cleared up. I'm just looking. I'm watching the stream here, and it looks a little choppy from my end. Do I follow a particular diet, says James Jeremy Uther. Not really. One of the things I've tried to do over the course of my life is just make healthier food choices one at a time. I never really ate overly unhealthy. But what I would try to do is just slowly change something. Take something out, put in something healthier. Take something out, put in something healthier to get to the point where I am now, which I would consider a fairly healthy diet, but I don't mind going on I don't mind cheating a little bit now and then. So, for example, one of the things I did years ago was when I was making a sandwich, instead of using mayonnaise, I would use hummus. Little things like that. And slowly you do that a bunch of times, and you just get used to it. And when you make all these small little tweaks, you can eventually get to a place where, I don't know, where you just enjoy eating healthy, which is kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up very soon. Favorite guilty pleasure Canadian food? Canadian food isn't really, it's just kind of like American food. There's a couple little things, but I don't know, poutine's pretty great. Devi Droat says, do you watch Vsauce? Not on the regular basis, though Vsauce 2 once featured one of my videos. That was pretty cool. Much love to Vsauce 2. Appreciate ya. Whoa, what? Someone's talking about what cable goes from the interface to the speakers. How does a audio interface works? Runs two TRS cables into my subwoofer. My subwoofer runs XLR cables into my speakers. I hope that answers your question, though I'm not totally sure what the question was. Somebody has a question about the contest. What's the best way to record a video for the contest? Just a reminder, giving away this guitar. Find everything you need to know about that over on the last video I released. Honestly, I don't care that much about video quality. I'm listening more for the playing and stuff. So your phone, if the better it is, I mean, it never hurts to have better video quality, but I'm not going to be judging based on that. Big greetings from Serbia, says a fat bear. And greetings right back to you from the middle of Canada. Ethan Young says, you should do a vlog about all the guitars that you have in your closet. Like mine, think alike. I've already done it. You can go watch a video called The Gear That I Use or something like that. And I talked about every single guitar that I use. And those are just the cases for them. Timothy Knight says, for the contest, do you need to only record the solo section? I would prefer to hear the full song, though there's no specific requirements for that. But I'll just tell you, I would prefer to hear the whole song. KJ says, hi from Australia, and hi right back to you from the middle of Canada. I've been to Australia before. Beautiful country. I'd really like to go back. Someone says bend note vibrato. I'm not quite sure what you guys are talking about. Mert, bro, I'm from Turkey, so even if I win, it won't reach me. Yeah, well, unless there's something I don't know about, we can ship it all over the world. Rob Scallon did this contest last year, and I think he shipped the guitar to, like, Chile or Argentina or something, so... Hey, dinner's over. What do you think about Joe Bonamassa? I saw Joe Bonamassa. I saw Joe Bonamassa. He's awesome. I like his guitar playing. I like him a lot. Someone said, what age do I start guitar? 13, my friend. 16 years ago. Do you like angels and I assume airwaves? Not really. Doesn't really do anything for me. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just not for me. Ethan Young says, do you know Andrew Wong? Would you collaborate with him? Yes, I do know Andrew, and we have, in fact, done a collaboration together. You can find it over on his channel. It's just Google Andrew Wong and Samurai Guitarist, and you'll find it. Nicholas Ramos says, my E string is slightly out of tune, and you're totally right. It is. Such is the nature. Good ear, my man. Good ear. Simon says, where'd it go? I don't watch your channel enough. What's this contest? And is the prize literally the guitar you are holding? Yes, it is this guitar that I am holding. It's an American Telecaster. All the information you need to know is on the last video I put out. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to play something and call it a day. I'm just going to record something on the loop station and then go to town with it, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So thank you guys all so very, very much for watching. New videos Monday, new videos Friday, and I'm back here every Wednesday doing one of these live streams. Just a reminder, I am giving away this guitar, this red Tele. It's a competition put on by Musician. Every single detail you need to know about that you can find over at the video that I just put out. It's the last video I put out. It's called I want to give away this guitar. It's pretty obvious. You can learn more about that contest giveaway. I would love to hear from a ton of you guys. Yeah, anyway, let's call it a day for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to play it out. Guys, thank you all again so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. And make sure you tune in Friday for an all-new video. Again, I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you next time.